and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to talk about the latest week of training camp. Practices, I guess. Training
Yeah,
camp's over, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're into
it's a joint
practices now.
practice in preseason week 2. Let's just go with that.
There you go. Joint practice, preseason week 2. We're going to preview the Patriots-Panthers matchup here, or Panthers-Patriots matchup, I should say.
And we're not talking
Uh,
about the boxing match that went down. We're talking about actual football.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week of practice with the Patriots, so we'll definitely get into all of that. Real quick off the top, you guys visit cbdx.com for all of your CBD needs, gummies, vapes, flour, whatever you want. Use promo code MEOW, get you 20% off. You get a little tip. We get to get our beak wet, and it works out for everybody, so check it out. All right, Jerry. Panthers have cut some players to get down to the 85-man limit that was due, I think, on Tuesday. Who are they?
Running back Darius Bradwell, tight end Nate Becker, after just being signed on our last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, offensive tackle Wyatt Miller, linebacker Kamal Martin, cornerback Chris Westry, tight end Ryan Izzo.
Yeah, no surprises there.
No. No big
surprises.
names.
No, I think Westry might have been the only one that I was a little surprised about. But he played terribly in the preseason game, so honestly, not that surprised.
And the depth at corner is so deep. So
yeah, and then like Nate Becker, he was signed basically just to fill in for a couple of practices while tight ends were healing. So not a surprise there. And the rest of the guys, honestly, I don't even really recognize. So the Panthers are where they need to be for now. I think there's another cut coming up after this week, I think.
Correct. I don't know. And then there's the big cut down.
Then right before the cut. Yeah, right before the season. So we will definitely have more to talk about there. Couple of injuries, unfortunately, going on here. Center Bradley Bozeman tweaked his ankle. No, they did x-rays, no fracture or anything. I think that's what they were worried about.
Yeah, it was scary too. They carted him off the field. I mean, I know he's still running with second team, but let's be honest. He's supposed to be our starting center this season, so that was scary.
Yeah, only going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, so he should be ready by week 1. Don't know if he's going to get that starting spot. I think if I had to guess, knowing Matt Rule, Pat Elflein will be starting week 1 at center, if I had to guess. But it's good for depth, for sure, that Bradley Bozeman is not out any longer than that, because, like you said, that was a little scary.
Yeah. Wide receiver Robbie Anderson also has a quad injury and is not practicing. Probably won't play. So, yeah.
Yeah. They were asking Matt Rule today, because actually quite a few players were held out of practice today, and they were asking Matt Rule if it was veteran days off, and he was like, no. Joint practices, we don't do veteran days off.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that wasn't playing, they're dealing with some sort of injury. So not necessarily saying that Robbie Anderson couldn't play in a real game if he had to.
Yeah.
But for practice, no reason to even risk it, right?
And there's quite a few guys I feel that are in that boat of they're being held out more so because why risk more injury instead? But if a game time situation happened, they're going to be out there.
Yeah. Terrace Marshall sat out today. I think you mentioned maybe a hamstring with him that was bothering him. I think Shi Smith, I believe, also was out of practice today. Stephen Sullivan, tight end, Dennis Daly, Derek Brown, Keith Taylor were back at practice, which is nice. So getting some depth back there. Hopefully, look forward to seeing Derek Brown play in the game Friday.
Hopefully.
We would expect the starters to play most of the first half, right? All of the first half, maybe?
I'm so confused on how they're doing these 3 preseason games. It's only been 2 years. This is the second year. But I would assume so. But then again, Matt Rule has commented multiple times how he's considering these joint practices more than the game. So it's like, is he really going to play it? Or So,
which is a little odd, I think.
mm-hmm.
Though I don't know. I mean, apparently Christian McCaffrey has been the best player on the field through the joint practices.
Shocking.
Right, right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the joint practice. I mean, uh, probably the biggest news coming
The
out of
best news.
joint practice so far, Jerry, is we have a new starting left tackle.
Yeah. Ike Edwano was officially named the starter left tackle. Um, it's about time. I didn't understand rules thought process. I'd have preferred Icky get more, snaps at left tackle with the ones earlier, but now at least now that's the system. And then Christensen's kicking inside to I'm using air quotes here, compete with Michael
Michael
Jordan,
Jordan, yeah.
not a Bulls fame, for that left guard position. And I think he's already with the one. So I mean, it's one of those things you already had this made up in your mind how you wanted this to play. Yeah, it frustrates me. It frustrates me.
I know, and I don't think we said this on the podcast, but you and I were kind of texting back and forth, and you mentioned that Charles Cross and Evan Neal were both
Yeah,
already like day one
they won out
practicing
there.
with the first team, building chemistry with the rest of the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what should have happened here. But he's got a few more weeks to start and build that chemistry. So um, another piece of news here: Kenny Robinson was kicked out of both practices with the Patriots. Yesterday, the first practice he was kicked out for fighting. Today, he was kicked out because he blasted someone on the kickoff practice they were doing, and then kind of like taunted him by
Taunted him.
standing over him.
And he blew
And
up one of the guys he was fighting with last week or yesterday or on to
well,
Tuesday practice.
that guy apparently has a concussion and is out for
Oh.
the foreseeable future. So I think Kenny Robinson may get cut.
Oh, Matt Rule alluded to it too. It
Yeah,
was not just,
yeah,
us thinking that. But he also, the fight when we went down to training camp, he initiated by
yeah. He
laying
was in there.
somebody out in practice.
Yeah.
And that's with his own guys too.
Now
Now,
listen, like I like Kenny Robinson. He's a guy that we talked about in our pre-draft coverage the year he was
mm-hmm.
drafted. Um, we got him, and he's got a lot of skills. But this is the reason why he was kicked out of college. It was for
Yeah.
behavioral issues. He went to the XFL. He obviously, I think, was one of the best defenders in the XFL, but he still fell in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
This is why. Um, he didn't play a lot last season. I have a feeling this is why. And he may lose his job. So.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be smart, Kenny. I really like you. I don't agree with I don't understand why they're doing kickoff practice at the joint practice. Like,
Yeah, there were a lot of people saying that didn't seem very smart.
yeah, I mean, that's where most concussions and stuff happen in the games is those special. And they're like, oh, well, we told them not to hit the returner. Yeah, but how are you? I mean, you're running full speed down there. That does.
You got guys trying to make jobs here.
Exactly.
Trying to make the team.
And Kenny Robinson
jobs.
was probably a fringe bubble guy. I mean, with getting Xavier Woods here, Justin Burris is still here. Sean Chandler played pretty well last year. I mean,
yeah, I mean, Kenny Robinson was, if not a bubble guy, he was that next tier, right? He had to compete. He had to compete. So again, I like his fire. He just needs to rein it in a little bit. Right place, right time. A couple other guys also kicked out, Jerry.
Yeah, so right after that play, they switched practice. They ended that practice, and then they went to another drill where one of the Patriots hit Christian McCaffrey down to the ground. Christian McCaffrey gets up, chucks the ball at the defender, and supposedly that ball hit a fan that was at the practice. But once that happened, it was a brawl. I mean, if there's pictures online, there's videos of it. It was just a big brawl. Phil Hoskins, Chuba Hubbard were also kicked out for that brawl. Not really shocked that a couple players got kicked out for that brawl. And
Yeah.
I'm not even going to really hate on Phil Hoskins or Chuba. I mean, if someone takes a cheap shot at your star player, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, supposedly, I guess it was retaliation for what Kenny Robinson did, but whoever Kenny Robinson hit, and I don't have his name on the top of my head.
Wilkerson,
Okay,
something like that, I think. Yeah.
not a Christian McCaffrey level player.
No.
Um, and I don't know if the ball hit the fan, but I know a fan did get involved in the fight when one of our players basically took one of the Patriots into the stands, essentially, and I think his helmet hit her foot or something. So she's fine, but yeah, never good when the fight spills into the fans. That's going to get people kicked out, fined, whatever the case may be. It sounds like during the practices that both of the defenses had the advantage over the offenses. Not super surprising,
Yeah.
especially given the Panthers' offensive personnel decisions that Matt Rule has been making. I know Sam Darnold, I believe his first throw was picked today.
Yeah, today, Wednesday, he got the first team reps first, and his first pass was picked off by Jalen Mills. He got another possession, got to play a little bit, but still not good. And like you said, it's kind of expected. The Panthers defense also seemed to have gotten the better of the Patriots offense, so that's good.
JC Horn made some nice plays today. I know he had an interception. I believe he also had a pass defense. So JC Horn, tell you what, didn't love the draft pick based on who else was available at the time. But happy to have him on the team. He's going to be just a really good player.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you and I both had a couple other guys above him in that cornerbacks, but the way he started last year, his physicality, and the way other players are raving about him, I really hope and think he may be something special.
Yeah,
here.
He's got all the tools. He's got the height. He's got the pedigree. I mean, yeah. Jerry, you and I have been lamenting the lack of linebacker depth on this team, but there's one guy I think that we can get excited about.
My boy, Brandon Smith.
Yeah.
There's reports he's just making plays out there against the Patriots, and I love it. Like I said, this was the guy I was really happy to get on the team and really was hoping that the linebacking coach would be able to coach him up, and it sounds like he's making plays and doing what I was hoping.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just a position of such need for the Panthers. And if he can step up and be a player, be a rotational guy at the very least,
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Year one he was a 4th round pick, right?
I believe 4th or 5th. I can't think off the top of my head.
That's finding gold right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. So looking forward to that. He's one of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing playing Friday night. Him and Barno again to see what they can do week 2. All right, one more note here. Brian Burns and Gross Matos, Yetur. After the practice yesterday, I think for like half an hour maybe after the practice end, Burns, Yetur, and Matt Judon from Patriots, 3-time Pro Bowler Matt Judon, we're all sitting, and it's like fighter pilots, right? Going through the motion, like, doing this.
Hey,
stuff.
if you do, when they hit you like this, you make a spin or do a club, it was because there is like some film of them talking. And Brian Burns said, yeah, I was picking his brain. And I'm sure vice versa. I mean,
and I'm glad Yetur was in that conversation.
Me too.
Let some of those guys rub off on him, some of like by osmosis, some of that skill, some of that drive, some of those tricks. I mean, that's good to see.
And Gross Matos is a different pass rusher than Brian Burns. As much as you would like him, Brian Burns is a speed demon out there. He can bend so well and fast. Yeah. So maybe getting a different perspective may actually help him as well. I mean, now there is one other thing about the joint practices that I don't have written down. Now,
Okay.
when we are planning to do this game or this record this session, I told Steven I want to wait till after Wednesday because I have a feeling a fight's going to break out at one of these practices. I didn't realize it was going to be both. So I'm just saying I called it.
Yeah, you did.
Like an
Yeah, I
hour
mean,
before the first fight.
yeah, not a surprise. It seems like in joint practices, I don't know that I can remember joint practices where a fight didn't break out.
Yeah, it always
And then
seems like that.
one of the players, not on the Patriots or the Panthers, but just another player in the NFL, and his name escapes me, but he tweeted out today, the joint practices are so stupid. Why are we doing this? And I think it revolved around this because the fights were like making national news.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, sports news, um, especially with CMC being involved today. So, as the fire starter or whatever it was. But overall, I think the joint practices were, I would say, a success for the Panthers. Even looking at the fighting, we got the starting left tackle named. It seems like Baker played well in the practices yesterday. Not amazing, but today it sounds like he was a lot sharper. I think we're moving towards him being named the starter.
Oh yeah. I
Probably
think
after Friday.
I my prediction is after Friday's game. I think well, we'll talk about the game coming forward, but I really do think that that's the plan all along to give the starter quotes here a
Who's
couple weeks with the starting receivers and
Yeah.
everything and really implement the offense more.
Do you think? Well, I'll save that for a minute. But Matt Rule had a press conference today, and he said, I believe the quote was, "We have a great plan for our starting quarterback." What does that mean? Because I don't know what that's supposed to mean. A great plan for our starting quarterback.
I don't know.
Just name the starting quarterback. You have a great plan to name the starting quarterback, or are you going to try to do something tricky with the starting quarterback position? Are we going to see Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in regular season games together?
I mean,
That's such a college coach thing to do.
he's been pulling college coach stuff all since his tenure here. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what we're going to see, but would it surprise you?
Nothing would surprise me with Matt Rule's decision making.
It would not surprise me, and that's kind of a sad thing to say,
Yeah.
honestly.
We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back with what we're looking forward towards the New England Patriots game because we're not really doing a whole pre-game breakdown of a preseason game.
Yeah. All right. So support for this podcast, MeowMix, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code MeowMix at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 12 million balls.
Good job. That's pretty impressive with your off the cuff thinking. Now, the Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer. It comes with the crop preserver, then 4.0 lawnmower,
Props.
and a nifty bag. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with their Performance 4.0 package. Think there are boxers in it and a t-shirt. It is awesome. My box came, and it's awesome. You can't see it because I have my black background blurred out.
Well, trust us, there is a box there. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and has a 4,000 LED spotlight so you can see everything that you're shaving. Guys, it's not 1985 anymore. Okay?
Nope.
Women like a little bit of a little less mess down there. That's what I'll say. A little
Hey,
less mess.
I like a little less mess down there for her. She probably likes a little less mess down there for me. Just say
There
it.
you go.
Now,
Yeah.
get 20% off and free shipping with code MeowMix, one word, at manscaped.com. That's 20% with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code MeowMix, one word. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tool for the job. Manscaped.
Manscaped.
Now, with this New England game coming up, the Panthers look pretty good. The first stringers did, and most of the second stringers look pretty good against a Washington Commandos team. But now they face an actual more impressive team. So, what are your thoughts on the game going in? What are you really looking forward to?
I'm curious to see, number one, who's going to start at quarterback. They've been going back and forth all preseason long. Every practice, it seems like one of them starts, then the next one. Baker started week 1. If Baker starts week 2, I think you
It's a wrap.
know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
If Darnold starts week 2, then I want to see how long he plays, because I fully expect Baker to get time with the ones. I think Sam will probably also get time with the ones, but I'm hoping they start Baker. I hope that he plays at least a full quarter. And just watching him against this New England defense, which has better players than the Commandos, as we call them, has a better, defensive mind running that defense in Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I'm also honestly really looking forward to special teams.
Yeah.
I think the Panthers special teams is really good this year, or will be really good this year. And New England has always had really good special teams. So watching that matchup is going to be fun. What are you looking forward to?
I know we mentioned it. Brandon Smith, Amari Barno kind of stepped out against the Washington game, and I'm really hoping they can continue on and make me feel better about. Hey, I like both picks. I had no issues with both picks, but we may have found 2 diamonds in the rough, or at least maybe not diamonds, but good solid players. I mean, that's what we want for those late round picks. And it looked like they jumped out early last week. And it was during, the first half of the game where, most of Washington played a lot of that first half for starters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, I think Smith being good is more important than Barno being good for this season, just because of our lack of linebacker depth. But we also have lack of edge rusher depth too, and I think Barno is going to be a really good player there. As we mentioned last week, his nickname on the team is Burno, right? It's like baby Burns, basically. So man, if both of those guys hit, I think we will have to maybe reevaluate Fitterer's drafting skills, because I wasn't super impressed with his first draft, just kind of overall. But it seems like this draft, he may have hit on a lot of good guys.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're talking about a 4th and a 6th round pick right now. And we're talking about them jumping out in week 1 preseason, looking good. And we're like, hey, these guys could be rotational players for us already.
I mean, 4th and 6th round picks, especially 6th round picks, are not guaranteed to make rosters at all.
No.
Like, we see 4th and 6th round picks cut every year, every single year. So especially, you see a ton of 6th round picks cut every year. So, if these guys can even make the team, it's a win, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I'm excited about that as well.
I was gonna say I'm really looking forward to Foreman and Chuba Hubbard, even though Chuba got kicked out, looking better. They did not look good in week 1 of the preseason, and CMC will. No, I don't think he's gonna even get this week any playing time. So I really hope that I see something out of them. I mean, this offensive line is better than last year. They need to show up and show some skill back there to make me feel a little bit more relieved when Christian McCaffrey is not out there.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to mention next is the offensive line. With Icky starting, with Christensen most likely starting at left guard. That's probably going to be our line week 1 against
Yeah.
Cleveland. So I'm excited to see the work that they've done this week and if they've gelled anymore. Icky, as we know, much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. Yeah, at least that was his book coming out of college. So that may help with what you're looking for, open up some more holes in the run game. I'm hoping that they do a few runs to his side and just see
What they've got.
what happens. I mean, why not? That's what the preseason's for, right? But yeah, I mean, for me, the offensive line, in particular, Icky, that left side really altogether, seeing how those guys work together, and because that could honestly, that could be the left side of our line for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and there might be more blitz packages thrown at them. The first team didn't see any last week. The Washington saved them all for that fourth quarter against our fourth stringers.
Yeah.
And speaking of that fourth quarter, Matt Corral. I first of all, I hate how many Panther fans jumped on the bandwagon of he was a horrible pick after one preseason game with 4 stringers. He played with like 3 or 4 of the players that got cut.
Yeah.
The day after.
I wouldn't be surprised if we could play with all the players that got cut that were offensive.
I mean, so with that being said, I really hope he comes out there, he calms down, and makes him calm down. He needs time. I was hoping he would come out guns a-blazing. He didn't. Well, the Panthers organization obviously doesn't have a plan for him to start this year. Hey, look, Matt Rule is putting P.J. Walker at 3rd string all the time for some reason, so he's not getting the reps. So give it time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many reps Corral gets this week, because I think Matt Rule there were a lot of national media outlets that were questioning why the hell is he playing PJ Walker so much when everyone knows he's not going to be on the team. And Matt Rule knows he's not going to be on the team too. Like, we're not going to cut Corral. No. Because Corral's not going to make it to the practice squad. PJ might. So yeah, I'm interested to see, number one, if PJ comes out with the 3rd team, or as the 3rd quarterback, or if Corral does. I'm hoping Corral does, and I'm hoping Corral plays most of the second half. I don't need to see any of PJ. I know what PJ is. They know what PJ is.
The NFL knows what PJ is. He doesn't need game tape to go to another team. He has actual game tape. They're not going to be like, they're not going to look at preseason week 1 against Washington and be like, well, maybe. I didn't see this during his regular season starts, but this quarter he played, now I'm thinking maybe we should sign him. So
yeah, I would be ecstatic if we did not see PJ Walker at all. Let's see what else. Obviously, the defensive line, just seeing if they can get to Mac Jones or whoever's playing with most of the starters in this game. I'm hoping that we can get some sacks. I wouldn't expect to see any elaborate blitz packages or anything like that.
Oh no, you may see some blitz, but it's not going to be fancy or anything. It's going to be like a linebacker coming,
an a gap blitz. Just do something simple that every team runs. I just want to see how our players match up.
Yeah, I would love to see J.C. Horn. I don't know if he's going to play, but man, I want to see him go out there. Who is New England's number 1? I don't even know if
their corner.
Or no, receiver.
Didn't they sign? They signed whoever it is. It's his first year on the team, I think.
Oh. But I would like to see him go up against their number 1 receiver and see what he's got. But again, I don't even know if he's going to be playing with that injury. So
Devontae Parker. They signed him. They also signed Nelson Aguilar. So those were the two guys that I was thinking. And then Kendrick Bourne, there from last year, Jacoby Myers. So, I mean, Jacoby, Parker, Bourne, and Myers, that's three decent wide receivers. And
Yeah,
Parker has really big game potential. Doesn't always happen for him, but he's got a lot of skills. So yeah, there should be some pretty decent competition in this game
yeah.
at that position.
Um,
All right.
it,
Anything else?
no, that's good for me.
Okay. Yeah, just looking forward to the game. Obviously, it's Friday this week, so we'll have our. Are we going to meet up Friday night, or do you just want to do it Saturday morning?
We'll talk about this off the air.
Oh, I think the listeners want to hear the conversation. All right, Jerry, I think that's it.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. We are brought to you by Manscaped.com. Use promo code MeowMix for 20% off, and CBDX.com, promo code Meow.
Well, we'll be back sometime, probably Saturday. Just plan on hearing us Saturday. You don't need to stay up that late Friday anyway, right? Nothing goes on Friday. Anyway, we'll see you guys then. Until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.